Hello students, we are continuing with our chapter Surface Chemistry. Before we begin with today's topic, I want to explain you one reaction. Potassium chlorate decomposes at 653 Kelvin to 873 Kelvin to give potassium chloride and oxygen, and this reaction takes 4 hours to complete. But if the same reaction is carried out in presence of manganese, then the reaction takes place at lower temperature 473 to 633 Kelvin, as well as it is completed only in 15 minutes. So there is a great difference between the timing taken as well as the temperature ranges. So why this change occurred? This change occurred because of the presence of manganese. Such substance is called as catalyst. So our today's topic is catalyst. The word catalyst is derived from Greek word and it means to pick up or to change. Okay. Now in this whole reaction, manganese itself do not take part in the reaction. Then what does it do? It only increases the rate of the reaction. So catalyst will not affect any other parameter of the reaction except the rate. Such substances are called as catalysts. And the interesting thing is that manganese itself do not take part in this reaction. So how can we define catalysts? Catalysts are the substances which will alter the rate of the chemical reaction but itself remain chemically inert. Itself do not get participated in the reaction. Such substances are called as catalysts, and this phenomenon is known as catalysis. So in today's video we are going to discuss what are catalysts, what are its various types, how does this phenomena of catalysis takes place. So we'll begin with characteristics of the catalyst. The very first, we have already seen that the catalysts themselves remain unaffected. It may go intermediate physical changes. Sometimes it may form chemical bond also with the reactant, but it can be recovered unchanged. There is no change in the catalyst. It does not shift the position of the equilibrium. This is the important one. That if the reaction is proceeding in forward direction, it will proceed in the forward direction itself. If the reaction is proceeding in backward direction, the direction of reaction will remain same. Catalysts are highly specific in nature. We cannot select any random catalyst for any reaction. Every reaction will have its particular catalyst. Then catalyst does not change overall enthalpy of the reaction, as well as it cannot initiate the reaction. We cannot begin the reaction with the help of catalyst, but yes, we can increase the rate of the reaction. And most importantly, only a small amount of catalyst is sufficient. So overall, what is the main role of the catalyst? It only increases the rate of the reaction. We can increase the activity of catalyst further by using promoters, or even we can deactivate catalyst by using poisons. So what are promoters? Promoters will help to enhance or to increase activity of catalyst. For example, nitrogen reacts with hydrogen to give ammonia. This is the famous example of Haber's process. We'll be studying this example again and again in this topic. So this reaction takes place in presence of iron as a catalyst. But the reaction becomes much more faster, much more quick if we use molybdenum. Now what is molybdenum? Molybdenum acts as a promoter in this case. Sometimes we need to control the activity of catalyst, and for that we are using poisons. So what are poisons? They deactivate the catalyst. You must have studied Rosenmund reaction in organic. In Rosenmund reaction, Acyl chloride is converted to aldehyde in presence of hydrogen and palladium. But along with hydrogen and palladium, here we are using barium sulfate. Now barium sulfate acts as a poison in this case. So we can control the activity of catalyst either by using promoters or by using poisons. Depending on the physical state of the reactants and catalyst, we have two types of catalysis: homogeneous catalysis and heterogeneous catalysis. Homogeneous catalysis means the reactant and catalyst both are in the same phase. Generally, these can be either liquid or gas. So let us study the example. The very first one, sulfur dioxide in the gas form is made to react with oxygen in the gaseous form to give sulfur trioxide, which is also gas, in the presence of catalyst. This is called as this step is used in the preparation of sulfuric acid. Now as you can see, the catalyst and the reactant all are in the gaseous phase. So this is the example of homogeneous catalysis. Second one, it is the hydrolysis of ester. For example, ethyl acetate CH3COO C2H5. When it is hydrolyzed, it gives acid along with alcohol. Now ester is also in liquid state, water is obviously in the liquid state, and it is carried out in presence of HCl. It is also in liquid state. So here as you can see, the catalyst and the reactant all are in the liquid phase. So it is an example of homogeneous catalysis, as well as it is the example of autocatalysis. Why it is called as autocatalysis? Because as we carry out the hydrolysis of ester, beginning of the reaction, the rate of reaction is very slow. But this acid also act as a catalyst afterwards, and therefore two catalysts increases the rate. This is an example of autocatalysis. The third example is the hydrolysis of sucrose, acid catalyzed hydrolysis. So C12H22O11, which is a sucrose, it is taken in liquid state. Its hydrolysis in presence of sulfuric acid as a liquid. So catalyst and the reactant all are in liquid phase, where we get two molecules of glucose. So this is called as acid catalyzed hydrolysis. So what is the summary of homogeneous catalysis? That the reactants and catalyst will be in the same phase, either liquid or gas. Coming to heterogeneous catalysis, obviously it will be the reverse of this. The reactant and catalyst, they both are in different phase. Here generally the catalyst is in the form of solid and the reactants are in the gas form. In our last video we have discussed that always the gases get adsorbed on the solid. Let us discuss the examples of heterogeneous catalysis. The first reaction, sulfur dioxide in the gaseous form is converted to sulfur trioxide using solid platinum as a catalyst. Second example is the conversion of nitrogen and hydrogen to ammonia in presence of iron as a solid, and this process is called as Haber's process. Third, ammonia and oxygen, they are made to react, both are in gaseous state, in presence of platinum, which is in solid state as a catalyst, to give nitrous oxide and H2O. This is called as Ostwald's process. and this is used in the preparation of nitric acid. Vegetable oil, which is in liquid state, is hydrogenated, which is in gaseous state, in presence of nickel as a solid to give vegetable ghee, and this process is called as hydrogenation. So these three processes are industrially important processes, and all these are examples of heterogeneous catalysis. Here you have to remember always that catalyst is in solid state and the reactants will be in the gaseous state. Now when we have studied so much about catalyst, the question arises, how do these catalysts work? What is the mechanism behind the catalysis? So we'll be studying the mechanism of catalysis. The mechanism of catalysis can be explained using modern adsorption theory. So we'll do this activity and we'll try to understand how does catalyst act, how does the mechanism of catalysis takes place. Okay, here I am representing a catalytic surface and it is in contact with two reacting molecules. I will represent these reacting molecules A and B with the help of these two crystals. Now when catalyst comes in contact with these two reacting molecules, these reacting molecules get adsorbed on the surface of the catalyst. Once the reactant molecules get adsorbed on the surface of the catalyst, they form an intermediate, and then that intermediate is converted into a bond, and after forming the bond, these A and B will be removed as a product. So what will happen? The process has taken place, what we call as a desorption. As a result of desorption, the surface of the catalyst is again available for the next reactant molecule to get adsorbed. So this is how the catalysis mechanism takes place. So the mechanism of catalysis I have tried to explain with the help of a flow chart. Have a look at this flow chart and then we'll move to the next part. So now we'll discuss what are the important features of solid catalyst. The very first is activity. The activity of any catalyst depend on chemisorption. Just now we have seen in the mechanism of catalysis that the reactant molecules get adsorbed on the surface of the catalyst, forming a bond, and that is the example of chemisorption. So the activity of catalyst depend on the extent of chemisorption. The reactant molecule, they must get adsorbed strongly so that the catalyst become active. Okay, but there is a one condition, that adsorption should not be that much strong that the mobility of the reacting molecules, the desorption of the reacting molecule becomes difficult. What will happen if the reactant gets strongly adsorbed on the surface of the catalyst? They will not get dissolved easily. So the catalyst surface will not be available for the next reactant molecule to get adsorbed, and therefore this is the condition that the reacting molecule should not get adsorbed very strongly to the surface of the catalyst. Okay, so this was the first point. Secondly, there are particular catalysts for a particular process. For example, for the process of hydrogenation, the catalytic activity increases from group 5 to group 11 elements. Which are these elements? These are the elements of the D block. And in chapter D block, we have already studied that the D block elements are very good catalysts. Now, in hydrogenation, especially from group 5 to group 11, for group 7 to group 9, this activity is maximum. Now, can you recall which are the elements of group 7 to 11? First transition series. These elements are like manganese, iron and cobalt. So the hydrogenation process becomes very fast when we are using the catalyst like manganese, iron or cobalt. As already mentioned earlier, every catalyst will direct a reaction to a particular product. We cannot choose randomly any catalyst for any product. For example, if carbon monoxide, which is in gaseous state, if is made to react with hydrogen in presence of different catalysts, will get different products. For example, carbon monoxide, when it is treated with hydrogen in presence of nickel as a catalyst, then we get methane as a product, both in the gaseous state. On the other hand, if carbon monoxide we are made to react with hydrogen in presence of copper, zinc oxide or chromic oxide, then we get methanol as a product. The product will change once again if we change the reactant. If carbon monoxide is made to react with hydrogen in presence of only copper as a catalyst, we get aldehyde. So as we change the catalyst, the reaction is directed to a different product. So if we want the methane as a product, we want alcohol as a product, or we want aldehyde as a product, we have to change the catalyst. So what we can conclude here, that the catalyst, they are highly specific in nature. A particular catalyst, if it is able to react and give a if it is able to increase the speed of a reaction of a particular reaction, it may fail in the other one. For example, nickel cannot be used to get alcohol, and therefore in the characteristic of catalyst I have told you that the catalysts are very specific in nature. We have seen that the reactant molecules get adsorbed on the surface of catalyst. So the size of the reactant molecules must be in correlation with the size of the catalyst pores, and therefore we will say the catalyst show shape selectiveness. This definition is an important one. Many times it is a repeated question. Now what are the examples of shape selective catalysis? Like zeolites. What are zeolites? Zeolites are aluminosilicates. In class 11th, you must have studied this. So, what are zeolites? Zeolites are aluminosilicates, and these are very good catalysts, widely used in petroleum industry. For cracking of hydrocarbon, for formation of isomers, etc. ZSM-5 is one of the zeolite, and generally these zeolites, they have honeycomb like structure. So what happens? They becomes very specific. Only the reactants and the products which can fit into this honeycomb like structure, for only those reactions a zeolite will be useful. So ZSM-5 is a catalyst which convert alcohol directly into gasoline. So ZSM-5 is an important catalyst. So in this video, we have seen what do you mean by catalyst, what is the mechanism of catalyst, what are the characteristics of catalyst, types of catalyst, etc. So based on today's video, there are some homework questions for you people. These are the assignment questions based on today's video. Try to solve these questions. That's all for the day. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.